Hi everyone, welcome back to the History of Football channel. Today I'll be talking about another Football League ground. We'll be talking about the history of that ground and some of the things that have occurred there. I've recently done a few videos on the matter such as Hillsborough, Fratton Park, the Valley, etc. But today we'll be talking about Ipswich Town's home ground of Portman Road. Ipswich Town were founded in 1878, but they did not begin playing at Portman Road until 1884. Their former home ground was called Broomhill Park. In the early days, Portman Road was also used by the East Suffolk Cricket Club, who had played in the vicinity since 1855. The cricket club had erected a pavilion, the first fixed building at the ground. More substantial elements of the ground development did not begin for a further 11 years, though Ipswich Town became one of the first clubs to implement the use of goal nets in 1890. In the early days of their existence, Ipswich Town were an amateur side. However, in 1892, Preston North End were the first professional team to visit the ground. This was followed 6 years later by a visit of Aston Villa, a game which was so popular that a temporary stand was erected in order to accommodate a crowd of around 5,000 people. In 1901, a tobacco processing plant was built along the south edge of the ground by the Churchman brothers, a name which would later become synonymous with the south stand located there. The first permanent stand, a wooden structure, was known affectionately as the Chicken Run, and this was built on the Portman Road side of the ground in 1906. This structure was sold in 1971 to the local speedway team known as the Ipswich Witches. In 1914, Portman Road was commandeered by the British Army for use as a training camp for the duration of the First World War. Control of Portman Road was not returned to the club until 2 years after the war had finished. In 1936, the club turned professional and the cricket club were forced to move out, so work began on the first bank of terracing at the north end of the pitch. Work also began at the Churchman's end and 650 tip-up seats were bought from Arsenal. Portman Road was home to Ipswich Town's first Football League match on the 27th of August 1938, a 4-2 victory against Southend United in front of 19,000 spectators. During the 1950s, significant changes happened in the ground, such as concrete terracing replacing wooden terraces. Also, there was £30,000 raised in order to build a new West Stand, which increased the capacity to 31,000 spectators. Floodlights were installed 2 years later in 1959, which cost £15,000. The floodlights were switched on against Arsenal, and this was a friendly match which occurred in February 1960. The first televised game to occur at Portman Road happened in 1962. However, it was another 6 years before another televised match would occur at the ground, which happened in 1968 against Birmingham City. In the 1960s, there was further improvements made to the ground, with works being done on the north stand. Also in 1965, there were dressing rooms constructed and new turnstiles were introduced. In 1968, Ipswich Town agreed a new 99-year lease with Ipswich Borough Council to remain at Portman Road. In 1971, there was a 2-tiered cantilever stand, which was built on the east side of the ground, providing an extra 3,500 seats, which brought the capacity to 37,000 spectators. In 1980, a lot of the wooden benches in the west stand were replaced by plastic seating, and the west stand was renamed the Pioneer Stand and reopened in 1983. With promotion back to the Premier League in 2000, it led to significant investment in the infrastructure at Portman Road, which cost the club £22 million, and it was mainly redeveloping the north and south stands. In 2001, local brewery Green King took on the sponsorship of the updated south stand, and as such, the stand was renamed the Green King Stand, which remained like that until 2009. Following the death of former manager Bobby Robson in 2009, the club announced that the North Stand would be renamed the Sir Bobby Robson Stand. On the 31st of March 2012, the South Stand was renamed the Sir Alf Ramsey Stand in memory of Sir Alf Ramsey, who guided Ipswich Town to the old First Division title. The 4 stands currently at Portman Road are, as I mentioned before, the Sir Bobby Robson stand, the Cobbold stand, which was built in 1971, it was previously known as the Portman stand, the Sir Alf Ramsey stand, and the Magnus Group West stand, which was first constructed in 1957. There are also several statues outside the stadium, that being of Sir Alf Ramsey, Sir Bobby Robson, and also former player Kevin Beattie, often considered to be Ipswich Town's greatest ever player. Nearby Portman's Walk was renamed Sir Alf Ramsey Way in 1999. Portman Road has only ever hosted one senior international fixture in its history. That came on the 20th of August 2003 when England played against Croatia in a friendly. England won the match 3-1 in front of 28,700 spectators. Some other uses for Portman Road over its history. Believe it or not, in the 1920s it hosted whippet racing there. Also, in addition to that, it hosted athletics in the early days as well, an American football match in 1953, and several international hockey matches in the 1960s and 1970s. The grounds also hosted several music concerts such as Elton John, R.E.M., Red Hot Chili Peppers, Neil Diamond, Tina Turner and Rod Stewart. The record attendance at Portman Road was set on the 8th of March 1975 when Ipswich Town played against Leeds United in the FA Cup 6th round, and 38,010 spectators attended that game. The record attendance set when the ground was all-seater came on the 21st of December 2003 when 30,152 spectators watched Ipswich Town play against bitter rivals Norwich City in the East Anglia Derby. The largest crowd for a non-competitive game at the ground was over 23,000 for Bobby Robson's testimonial, where Ipswich, including George Best, played against an England 11. Portman Road also hosted Ipswich Town's first appearance in European football when they defeated Floriana of Malta 10-0, still a club record in the European Cup in 1962. Since then, Ipswich Town remain undefeated at Portman Road in all European competitions, a total of 31 matches spanning 40 years, a record until it was surpassed by AZ Alkmaar in December 2007. The current capacity of Ipswich Town is now 29,673, and the club currently play in the EFL Championship after being promoted from League One last year. So that concludes my video on Portman Road, the home of Ipswich Town since 1884. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. If you're in Ipswich Town, let me know of your favourite memories of the stadium. If you're an away supporter, let me know of your best memories or favourite memories of this ground. I'll be doing more of these videos in the future. Thanks for tuning in once again, and I'll catch us all later in the next one. Alright, tatty bye for now.